Yeah, we had 7 kids in 8 years. I did not know that was possible, but we did it. And so I'm very excited to hang out with you guys. Drove up from Cincinnati this morning, and I love talking about YouTube stuff because part of my story is I just think that this is just an amazing opportunity and a great platform to use to reach people and change their lives. I uploaded my first video on March 2nd, 2006, and this is a little video I had like my little 8mm. You remember the cameras that used to use tape? That would like eat the tape all the time, and you'd like lose half your footage. And I figured out how to get the footage off of the camera onto my computer, and then upload it to YouTube. And it's 30 seconds long. You can tell I put a lot of creative energy into this video. It's called Test Video. So I worked really hard, and I got up there. I'm just like, let me just try this, see what this is like, see if this is a thing that I could do. And so I got that first video up there, and then I thought, well, I was halfway across the country, away from my family, and I thought, well, this might be a great opportunity for me to introduce this girl I'm dating to my family across the country. And so we started making little videos together that would today be known as vlogs. Back then, that wasn't a word. It was just being awkward in public with a camera, right? And so we'd go out, and we would just make videos of us going out on dates, going out to movies, going out to the park, and just hanging out. And we just kind of kept going, everything from our engagement to our wedding, our honeymoon, our first house, first job. And we were doing this mostly just to kind of keep our family up to date with what we were up to and what was going on. But other people started watching, and it was really confusing to me why they were watching. I'm like, this video's not for you. And back then, it was like MySpace days when if someone knew who you were on the internet, they would for some reason come down and kill you and track you down or whatever. So I was like, who is Catlicker69? And should I be worried right now that they're watching my videos and commenting? So I started to figure out what is happening on this platform. Why are people coming and watching our videos? Why do they keep coming back? I've never met this person. And so I started asking a lot of other people who were also regularly posting videos on YouTube back in that time. And they're like, we don't know Tim, but if you figure it out, come let us know because we're wondering the same thing. So I'm the type of guy, I love to see a problem, and I love to try to figure things out. And so I started doing lots of conversations with lots of people, started figuring things out on my own. And other people will be like, we don't know, but if you're trying to figure this out, go talk to this guy, Tim Schmoyer. And so from the very, very early days of YouTube, I kind of ended up on the industry side of the platform and still create. We have multiple YouTube channels. I don't even know, hundreds of millions of views and subscribers and stuff too personally. But we've also been working a lot with other creators and brands, helping them do the same thing now. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, we've done 3 YouTube strategy things for Disney, HBO, Time Warner, Century 21, eBay, Budweiser, Warner Brothers, just a lot of big brands. We've had fun doing strategy for them, all the way down to new brands and creators and startups and people who are just wondering how do I get started on this YouTube thing, and how do I put together a strategy that will help me, 1, get an audience, and then 2, get them to care. And that's what we want to talk about here today. And by the way, I married that girl, and now we have 7 kids. So she's like, you can go and leave me with 7 kids if you just go for 1 day. I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. So took off, here I am, and she's man in the house. We homeschool our kids, so we're all together, so they're all home with her right now. So hopefully having a good time. So that's how kind of got started. So what we want to talk about today is kind of how when we work with clients and work with customers and people, how do you actually grow a YouTube audience and get that audience in the first place, and then how do you get them to become loyal? Right? Because getting a view is one thing, but getting that viewer to convert into a subscriber, to convert into then an engaged, active member of your community, to then maybe hopefully potentially a customer of some kind, that's hard. And I think any of you guys here, you're content creators and marketers, so you know that this is a much bigger conversation than we can have here in just a few minutes. But what I want to do is give you a snapshot, an overview of what it looks like for how do we first get that initial audience to our channel, and then we'll talk about some ways of kind of converting them to be a loyal fan. I think it's important that we start by first understanding what are YouTube's actual goals. And so we can craft videos, craft content that helps YouTube accomplish their goals, then they will be like, oh, and they will just like promote your videos and you'll get discovered like everywhere. And they'll just get really excited because everyone needs to see this video because this video is helping us accomplish our goals. So they have 3 primary goals that they are trying to accomplish. And a lot of people, they refer to this as the YouTube algorithm. Right? And you guys heard that term, algorithm. Everyone's like, what's this YouTube algorithm doing? Like we just need to get them to notice us and promote our stuff. And the goal of the algorithm is to serve the right video to the right person at the right time. Okay? So the algorithm is not something that I think we should bow to. It's really a lot simpler, a lot less complicated than people think it is. If you understand what it's trying to accomplish and help it accomplish that, then your videos will just perform really well. A lot of people get sidetracked and they go down this rabbit hole of like trying to get perfect like keyword research and tags on their videos, and they think that if they have better descriptions or whatever, some people think if you just say your keyword 14 times and it gets in the captions file that maybe that will help. Like Google got really smart a long time ago, and they're like, just because it has the keyword in the title, the tags, the description, and they said it 14 times, doesn't necessarily mean that this is the best video to serve just because they crammed their keyword into there a lot, right? And then on the other side, it was like, well, a lot of people are lying in their data. They're saying this is about this thing because it has a higher search volume, but it's actually about this thing instead. And so Google learned pretty quickly that we can't rely on those types of signals and to appropriately rank and position videos. And so they're looking for 3 things. Number 1 is they want to know what videos bring people back to YouTube. And these are the videos that are typically on the homepage when you first log right in. You just go to youtube.com. Those are typically the videos that are bringing people back to YouTube. And YouTube's like, we want to make it as easy as possible for people to start consuming content here and get into our stuff. And so they'll put those videos right in front of you. If you're in your YouTube analytics, you can see this is called under traffic sources. It's called homepage traffic. And so that's how you can measure how well your channel content is doing that. And then the next thing they want to know is like, all right, what videos do people actually watch when they get here? So what gets them here, then what do they watch when they're here? And that's measured in terms of watch time, which is simply the total accumulated amount of time that someone spends watching a video. And so do they spend 5 minutes on this video versus 2 minutes on this video? Well, this one, they watch longer, so this one must be more valuable. Or maybe we have like, Google's like, there's someone searching for this, and we have these 2 videos, which one should we serve? They're like, well, this one, people watch this video longer than this video, so this video must be more valuable. But it's a little more complicated because the third thing they're looking for is which videos contribute to the longest viewing session on YouTube. So what do they come back to watch? What do they watch when they're here? And then what keeps them here the longest? So YouTube's goal is to promote content that gets people back to YouTube, content people actually watch, and then keeps them watching another video, and then another video, and another video, engaging with as many channels as possible, seeing as many videos as possible, as many ads as possible, right? Like that's what they're actually going for. What content actually helps us do that? And so when it comes to being like discoverable on YouTube, YouTube primarily focuses on these things that are called viewer signals. So it doesn't have as much to do with the information that you're telling YouTube is about your video. It has more to do with the signals that your viewers are giving YouTube about your content. And so there's a couple factors that kind of go into discoverability here. One of them, kind of talk about that's the metadata, the titles, the tags, the descriptions. Some people include captions in that. Some people don't. But I mean, that the information that you give Google about your video. And so you can spend a lot of time just kind of optimizing and research and trying to trick the algorithm to think that your video is about a certain thing. And I personally, I think I've worked personally with over 1,000 creators at this point. And I don't even know the stat. I lost track. Billions, hundreds of billions of like whatever views and subscribers. And I can confidently say that the metadata plays a very small role in how videos are positioned, which might be contrary to what you believe and think. I work with YouTube on their products. I'm one of the few contractors they use for that, and I write a lot of the curriculum that YouTube employees use for working with creators, and I can say confidently, like the metadata plays a role when you first initially publish the video, so Google doesn't know anything else about your content. But very quickly, you know, within the first day, 2 days, 3 days, up to 7 days, they're just kind of quickly trying to switch over to how do people react to this video? What gets them to respond? And so really when it comes to discoverable content, it's really about the content itself and how well your videos actually get people to want to watch and keep watching. And so in terms of discoverability, this is the principle. It's like your viewers actually determine how well your videos will rank. And so our goal is to make it as easy as possible for our viewers to give the signals to Google that they need to want to promote that video and surface it in front of everyone that they can. Now, I know some of this maybe goes contrary to maybe what some of you guys have heard, and most of that stuff comes from traditional SEO, from Google.com. But we have to remember, like, these are they're owned by the same company, but on Google, like, what does that homepage look like? It is just a box and a button, right? Just nothing. You come to YouTube, it's just like littered with stuff you could click on, right? Very two different experiences. Google.com accomplishes their job if you only stay on their site for 3 to 5 seconds or so, and if you're off, you know, they've done a good job. But on YouTube, they have the opposite goal. They want you to come to YouTube and spend as much time there as possible. You don't go to Google.com to just browse stuff, right? You go to search and then you're done. But you go to YouTube to actually spend time and to browse and go from one suggested video to the next. And so YouTube is a search engine. It's the number 2 search engine in the world, second to Google.com. And it's the number 2 website in the world, just surpassed Facebook a few months ago. So there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of search happening there. But what it really comes down to is this. If you want to dominate and get an audience, you have to optimize your videos and your content for people, not for robots. Okay? Does all that make sense before I move on? Because that's really, really important. At the end of the day, the viewers aren't just numbers on a screen. Each number represents an actual person who's giving you an opportunity to speak into their life, giving you an opportunity they're giving you some of their time, which I would argue is probably the most valuable thing that they could give to anybody, especially us. And so we got to optimize for those people. Now, there's a few myths in terms of how do we get people to now care. Now that we're optimizing for people and our content is hooking people's attention, getting them in, how do we get them to actually stick around? How do we convert that person from someone who's just kind of like a viewer now into someone who is actually a dedicated part of our community? Let's do a little quiz. True or false? If someone knows about my YouTube channel, they'll subscribe. Yeah, okay, good. You guys are great. Yeah. So it's false. Why is that? How do you know that's true? Because how many channels do you know about you're not subscribed to? Right? A ton, right? So the mistake a lot of creators make is they think like, okay, promotion is my problem. I just need more exposure. And so they'll go out, they'll buy paid campaigns, or they'll do lots of things trying to get exposure. But obviously, we know that just because someone knows about you doesn't mean they're going to care, or that they're actually going to watch, or they're going to subscribe. I would say don't go out and do paid stuff until you actually know that what you're doing actually works. And so, because YouTube's goal is to promote that content. If they're not promoting it, like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but it's usually a content problem. So in terms of how you're crafting your content and getting people to watch. I think the principle is also true here. True or false? If someone knows about your product, will they buy? Right. So it's not just like, this is on my radar now. It's like, they need to know about it, but we have to get them to care about it. And once they care about it, then at that point, that's when we can start working with, like, if they want to consume, they want to come back, they want to keep watching content or videos, and they're looking forward to that Tuesday or whatever it is, every Tuesday, Monday, or whatever. Whenever you post your new videos, they're coming back thinking, it's Tuesday, I can't wait for that next video from my favorite creator, and you're making your content part of their weekly rhythm and everything. So the next step here is getting them to care. Now, how many of you guys are YouTube creators? Like, like once a week, you're publishing a new video. Oh, wow. Okay. Fewer of you than I expected. All right, great. So, how many of you guys actively watch YouTube? And I would say, like, okay, you're actively subscribing to channels and you're going back to watch a new video from a subscriber every week. All right. Okay. Some of you. Okay. So let me give you guys just one action step for you right here. Okay. One takeaway you should do. It's said that the best authors are the ones who read the most. Right. I think it's the same is true in YouTube. The best creators are the ones who just watch a ton of YouTube. So if you're at work, your boss can be like, oh, it's for work, you know? Like, you need to be actively subscribing to channels, paying attention to, like, why do I want to click on this thumbnail versus that thumbnail, about that title versus that title? Why do I feel bored in this content? Why do I want to click away? Why do I feel like I need to keep watching this and see what happens, right? What's keeping me from watching another video? Paying attention to all those things. How many of you guys ever like, created a piece of content, like a video, in our case, published it to YouTube, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. It's going to go big. It's going to be, and then you see 1 view, 3 views, 5, and it's done, you know? And you're like, this was really, really good. Like, why did this video not get more views? Like, I am really passionate about this. This is really, really good. And you're like, okay, well, maybe no one's interested. And then you see that other guy who made, like, a video in his basement with a webcam with 1 million views. And you're like, what the heck? Yeah. Have you guys ever seen that? Like, why is that video doing well with just a guy in his basement with a webcam, millions of views and subscribers, passionate, loyal audience, and this guy over here is like, well, true story, actually. This was like a few months ago now. I worked with a creator, and they had 7 full-time people on their channel, YouTube channel. These guys all had production background. They had like these big $20,000 epic cameras, and it just looked beautiful. And they were publishing this content 3 times a week on their channel. And they come to me after about a year of doing this and like, Tim, why haven't we broken like 24 views on a video yet? And this guy over here is just like doing it on his iPhone, and he's getting tens of thousands of views. What's going on? And so what I want to talk about here is how do we do that? But the myth I want to dispel is that it actually has very little to do with production value. Most of us probably, when we think about videos, we come to it thinking more from like a television or maybe theater experience, where we come to this thinking that, you know, this has got to look good, high professional quality, and I just want to free you from that expectation right now. Some of you, like in your phone or in your pocket, you have like the #1 tool that you need just to get started, and sometimes it actually works better. Like, brands spend a lot of money trying to make a video look like it came from a phone sometimes, you know? You might as well just shoot it yourself for free on a phone. But it feels more raw, feels more authentic, and those are the intangible aspects that make a channel really grow. It's not just because of perfect keyword and metadata, and it's not because you had a really expensive camera. It's about the human aspects that we've been talking about. It's the human qualities that get people to connect and care with what you do. It's the same thing is true for like musicians too, by the way. Like the musicians who go double platinum and sell out concert venues are usually not the best musicians in the world. Like, the world has a lot of other musicians who are far more talented than they are, but they're the ones going big because of some of these human characteristics and traits that we're gonna talk about. It's also why some smaller channels make a lot more money on YouTube than a lot of the bigger ones do. I know, I work with all of them, and not all of the channels, but a lot of them, they have, you know, the bigger guys aren't necessarily making more money. There's these other intangible aspects that really go into this.